Hey everyone, welcome back. I want to share with you a great post that I found a couple of days ago on Reddit, of course. And I think this explains everything you need to know. I mean, right to the T, to the dotted I's, and everything else that you need to figure out on how to get into cybersecurity. Now, what this post is going to show is that it's not that simple. It's simple to follow, but it doesn't guarantee anything, right? So I just want to share that with you guys. Planning to become a cybersecurity professional in 2025, here's what actually matters. I agree entirely with every single word that was said in this post. And of course, I'll add a few of my comments on top of all of that because I do have something to say about all of this. And once I finish this post, and it's pretty lengthy, I'm not going to lie, it goes a little further down, but it covers a good portion of everything that's out there in the real world today. And what I'm going to say about it is actually not a negative thing, but it's some reality thrown into it as well. Okay, so this is from a cybersecurity jobs. The name of this post person, whoever this is, I don't know who this is, but I thought this was a great stepping stone as far as what to look for in 2025. So hey everyone, if you're planning to get into cybersecurity this year, whether you're switching from another field, fresh out of school, or just curious, here's a breakdown of what you should really focus on. The field is massive, but this post is meant to give you direction and help cut through the noise. Okay? Start with the basics, seriously. Before jumping into hack tools or CTFs, make sure you understand how computers, network, and operating system work. These are non-negotiable. I totally agree with that, like to 100%. And that goes all the way back to how the fundamentals you actually need to know, and you can't just go to cybersecurity degree programs and then expect to come out finding jobs, right? You need to know how the actual computer works or how data transfers and all the other things in between that, right? Anything that's physically on the wire and anything that's virtually on the cloud or whatever it is, you need to understand the basic concepts of networking. How the internet works, DNS, HTTP, S/S, and TCP/IP, etc., so on and so forth. What happens when you type a URL into a browser, operating system, especially Linux, plus Windows Basics, how file system memory process and permissions work, networking fundamentals, IP ports, firewall, routers, NAT. You can't secure what you don't understand. And I'm going to chime in over here is that I feel like some of these people who are selling you this pipe dream of cybersecurity themselves, they landed this SOC, position way back when companies were actually hiring without even considering if they have a background in technology or IT. Those individuals are probably lacking those fundamentals. And if they were to get laid off, I'm not even surprised because how do you really secure something you don't even understand? I mean, it's just basics, right? So choose a path, but learn broadly at first. Cybersecurity has many specializations. A field example: blue team, defensive security operations; red team, offensive pen testing; GRC, governance, risk, and compliance; cloud security; AppSec, DevSecOps, malware analysis, reverse engineering, digital forensics, incident response. And those are just some of the key components of cybersecurity. I do not agree. I can't even think of additional ones off the top of my head right now, but for the most part, it covered a good portion of it. You could say purple team, but yeah, if you mix the two, blue and red, it's there. You don't need to pick one right away, but know your options helps you avoid getting overwhelmed. Yes, that is very true because if you start studying blue team stuff and then you start dabbing into red team and you start trying to figure out GRC, it gets really, really like congested really fast. Like your head's gonna be spinning on trying to figure out what's what, right? Just the basics of tools, hardware, things like that. Understand basic firewalls, how firewalls work, how port forwarding work, and things like that, right? And learn Linux and networking inside out. Spend time in the terminal Learn basic bash commands, write simple shell scripts, understand permissions, change mode, change owner. Those are some of the just Linux commands, and get comfortable navigating and configuring Linux systems. Key. It's very key, right? Linux. That doesn't mean you shouldn't omit Windows, but Linux and Windows. I mean, those are the two popular operating systems that most organizations, corporations are incorporated into their daily lives, daily operational stuff, right? Whether it's IT, OT, whatever it is. For networking, learn to use Wireshark, Nmap, Netcat, TCP dump, traceroute, NSLookup, dig. That is a extensive list. And if you were to know all of this, I mean, just this alone is very, very tedious, right? It's very time consuming. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of dedication. It's not very interesting for the most part. I mean, but it is if you're into it, but it's very dry. Let's just put it that way. You're just basically looking at, binaries flying left and right and trying to figure things out. And that's what this is all about. You're trying to figure things out. Is this something that you're even interested in? Build a home lab. This doesn't need to be fancy. You could use VirtualBox, VMware, Proxmox to set up virtual machines, run a Linux and Windows VMs, set up your vulnerable machines like Metasploit, DVWA, or TryHackMe boxes, and practice attacking and hardening them. You'll learn way more from this than just reading blogs, posts, or watching videos. That is very true because you can only do so much when you're just absorbing video content and, other, nonsense YouTubers selling you a pipe dream. Not me. All right. I'm just putting that out there. Get hands-on with tools, but don't just memorize them. Know how to use tools like Burp Suite, Metasploit, or Nessus is cool, but make sure you understand why you're using them and what's happening under the hood. Also learn basic scripting. Start with Python to automate tasks, parse logs, or create small utilities. Bonus if you get into Bash or PowerShell. Do capture the flags, and labs start with beginner-friendly platforms like TryHackMe, great for structured learning. Hack the Box once you're a bit more advanced. Over the Wire for Linux and binary challenges. Pick Code CTF for beginners and high school entry level. Don't worry about solving everything. Focus on learning from write-ups and figure out why behind each challenge. Understand common attacks and defense. Get familiar with OWASP Top 10, web app vulnerabilities, phishing, malware, privilege escalation, network attacks, man in the middle, ARP spoofing, DNS poisoning, basic Windows attacks, LSAS dumping, lateral movements, detection and defense techniques, SIM, IDS, firewalls, and logging. You don't need to be a pro at all of them, but you should understand what they are and how they work. Certs can help, but they're not magic if you're new. Start with CompTIA Security Plus, solid fundamentals, foundation HR friendly, Cisco CCNA if you're interested in networking heavy roles, EGPT entry-level pen testing from INE, very hands-on. TryHackMe learning paths, less formal but very practical. You don't need a million certs. Get one, focus on skill, and move on. Okay? Document everything and build a portfolio. Keep notes. Blog your learning. Push scripts or write-ups to GitHub. You don't need to show off elite hacks. Just show your learning and thinking like a security professional. Document labs, walkthroughs, and small projects. Network and get involved. Cybersecurity is very community-driven. Join communities like Reddit, cybersecurity, and NetSec students, Twitter, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, tons of pros sharing info. Discord servers like the Cyber Mentors, TryHackMe and Hack the Box servers, local meetups, besides DEF CON groups, etc. Ask questions, share progress, help others when you can. Be patient, be consistent. You won't be elite in 3 months. The learning curve is steep, but rewarding. Work on labs regularly, read CVEs, break stuff, fix it, keep showing up. Cybersecurity isn't just a job, it's a mindset. If you're learning cybersecurity right now or trying to figure out where to start, drop your question or plans below. Happy to help with the resources, learning paths, or just to talk shop. Now, that was lengthy, and I need to Little subway break. Yeah, that was pretty good. So yeah, I mean this was impressive, to say the least, and I feel like this gentleman or this individual has definitely have a good background in all of everything that was mentioned. Seems like a very careered and seasoned cybersecurity professional to share, the what it would take in 2025 to become relevant in this space. Now, and getting a degree and a couple of certifications like Security Plus, and then just sit there on the sideline applying to jobs, get you the job that you would think you would get, like the ones glorified in movies? Probably not. Some individuals would focus more on certain aspects of this entire list in this post, and that would probably be a very niche individual, right? I can say from my experiences that if I knew most of this stuff, which I have touched on many different levels, but I assure you, I am continuously learning day in, day out. Every day I'm at work, I learn something new, and like my mind is like just blown the fact that like how did I get by just learning something new every single day, and that I should have known, right? Because applications, tools, techniques, frameworks, policies, they're continuously changing. Applications, vendors, continuously changing. Network technology, from what it was to where it is now, continuously changing. So you're constantly keeping up to date. That's the challenge. And that's why a lot of these things, yes, you would know the fundamentals of networking, but of course, there's always something new that's going to come out. And then because of that, you're trying to stay on top of all this while you're doing what you have to do on the daily, your responsibilities, right? Let's just say your daily responsibilities. So first comment here is this great post. People need to calm down the sexy cybersecurity sec part and just get basics down. I've seen security teams that absolutely suck because they all have sec certs and zero IT system or networking experience. Watching them try to come up with solutions to issues is beyond painful since they have no idea how systems and network operate. It's a horror show. And I'll stop there. And I just want to share that, sentiment with you individuals. I have seen that for myself. The whole cybersecurity being glorified to the point where you don't need to know anything else besides what phishing emails are, what a firewall does, and how it works, and you can configure something like that, or you install a antivirus, or what EDR stands for, IDS, IPS. Putting all that into a network but not understanding the network is the problem, right? And that's where the whole cybersecurity, I honestly feel like it's not entry level. None of it is entry level. You keep saying, or you may think that SOC level 1 or 2 is entry level. It's entry level once you have the experience in cybersecurity. But if you don't have experience at all in cybersecurity, it's not entry level. You have to look and find things. You're searching for things. You're utilizing tools to do these things. It's not you just sit down there and try to figure things out without ever touching these things, right? You have to have experience. So a couple of comments came in and saying that, IT help desk roles are limited in itself. Every sector in IT is limited as far as what's available in the job market today and things like that. I will dive deeper into all of that, current unemployment rate and, what's going on in the market in general, because, yeah, it's also a factor, right? When it comes to landing cybersecurity jobs at this point in time, I feel like the experience matters a hell of a whole lot. You coming out of school is probably lowest of the totem that you would land any one of these. I'm dead serious. That time has passed already. 5 years ago, you may have gotten lucky coming out of cybersecurity program, college, degree, whatever, boot camp. And you may have gotten lucky and landed your first cybersecurity roles, but I assure you, those individuals are still in there now, if lucky, and they already have progressed and they probably earned 2, 3, 4 years of experience at this point. But for companies to hire someone coming out of a university now for a cybersecurity role, I'm pretty sure that's going to be highly unlikely, or very rare. Okay. So, how do you get by doing what you have already, right? If you graduated and you're still looking for a job, trust me, there's plenty of people who are saying that, they've been looking for a job for the last year, 2 years, and they still haven't landed anything. One, if you look at some of their resumes, it looks very painful. Two, they're painful because the other half of it is that they don't have any experience to illustrate or showcase what they're capable of doing. Very, very challenging at this point. And of course, there's a lot of things you can do. And, going through this list that we just went through, that I just read off from this great OP, topic about how to get into cybersecurity in 2025. Some comments also come in is that, my finances is not allowing me to follow my passion, which I understand, right? Because following a passion and not being able to get paid for it, it's tough. I mean, you need to survive. You need to eat. You need to do a lot of things. Unfortunately, if you're not getting paid, there's not much you can do. So where do you draw the line? Like, who's the one who's able to withstand not being able to get paid, but still commit their time into learning all this, which may take a year or two, right? It doesn't happen overnight. And then while you're supporting your current lifestyle, right? Like, you have to eat and you have to, wash your clothes, you have to spend money on utilities or whatever. If you're in that point of time where finances is really crucial to you and like meaning the life or death situation, then yeah, I mean, following this passion is really difficult. Like, how do you balance the two, right? If you don't land a job, you can't keep on going on hoping that you apply for more, you may get something back in return. That's where it is difficult. The focus would probably be, in my opinion, is that when I was in my 20s, early 20s, I wasn't working, or there was a gap in my resume somewhere when I was younger, and I was still doing IT, but at that point in time, in my early 20s, just coming out of college, I had, luckily, I had support, right? My parents were still there, and they were able to support me a little bit here and there if my finances dipped too low or I had none, right? Buying me dinner or eat at home or whatever the case was. That definitely helped, right? But if you're out on your own and you have to pay rent and you have to pay, get gas in the car, and you're looking for jobs online, you have to pay for the internet, you have to pay for this and pay for that, it's very challenging, of course. So, it's a mix of reality into how much time you can actually spend doing everything that's on this list, right? Learn Wireshark, learn, and all these other tools or other, labs, and labs cost money too. I mean, you have to have resources to do all this. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is more of a community where I want to speak to you. I mean, everyone's situation is different. I've been through certain things in my past where I was grateful for finding jobs and I was given opportunities, even though I had limited or close to no experience in the beginning. And the fortunate thing is I went through this internet boom stage where, I was lucky to land some of these roles. And from there, it progressed on. It progressed on. It doesn't seem like there's a lot, similarities going on right now, unless, and I'll say unless, you have to throw AI into the mix, Somehow you have to throw AI in the mix. This whole list from this Reddit post did not mention anything about AI. I think that's one of the key things. Now, I don't know. I'm just speculating. AI has to be somewhere in between all of that as well. You have to talk the talk. Companies, corporations are looking for the hot new thing, and AI is that. So, with that being said, I would probably have thrown in somewhere along the lines AI. I know that's a very generic term, but understand the terminologies of AI, what's being spoken today, how organizations are trying to utilize AI to benefit the company. They're looking for people to utilize tools, work with the tools. AI is a tool. So that's another thing. I'll add that into the whole mix of everything else. All right. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.